Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about a recent term that is being used, that is called as poison pill defense. This term has came into news due to the Twitter and Elon Musk controversy that has been going on from past few days. So let us try to understand what this term means and what is the advantage of using poison pill defense for the particular company. Now the context in which we are discussing this today's issue is because on the Friday, Twitter has countered Elon Musk's offer to buy the company for more than $43 billion with a corporate tool or corporate strategy that is popularly known as poison pill. Now, Elon Musk earlier have given an offer to Twitter that by giving a price of $54 per share, he wants to increase his stake and make Twitter as a private organization so that he can ensure that the freedom of expression that Twitter's main goal was, that is restored, that he believes is not being the freedom of expression or the right to expression is not being fulfilled by the Twitter as of now. That is why Elon Musk wanted to acquire this company. However, this strategies, poison pill strategy, slight introduction about that. It is familiar to boardrooms and who are trying to, especially to those board members of those companies who are trying to fend off takeover, especially hostile takeovers. But this term is very less familiar to the everyday investors. So first of all, two terms are there. The poison pill technique is used when we have probability of a hostile takeover of any company. Now, what is a hostile takeover? Hostile takeover is that when any organization, any other company or even any other individual want to acquire the larger share or larger stake in any company without the approval or without the desire of the present board members by buying aggressively the shares of the company. So that is called as hostile takeover. Takeovers are very normal. Takeovers generally happens when both companies agree to increase the share or decrease the percentage stake in the board of the companies. So this defense mechanism basically is believed to have developed somewhere in 1980s when the company leaders, they were facing a lot of corporate raiders and hostile acquisitions as discussed before, and they wanted to defend the businesses from being acquired by another enterprises, person or group. Now looking at the slight background of this term poison pill. So poison pill basically derives from the eras of wars and espionage, when we have spies that is always carrying toxic pills. The most common one were cyanide, because they thought that if they are caught in the foreign company, then it is better to die by consuming this poison pill, by consuming this cyanide pill, than to get tortured and spill out the secrets. That is from where the term poison pill has come into practice. However, in the worlds of finance or corporate finance, the poison pill term has originated in the United States somewhere in the 1980s, and the first time this technique was used is believed to by a firm called as Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen and Kanch. And that time when this was when the poison pill technology was strategy was used, that time it was generally believed to be a breach of fiduciary duty. It was not widely acceptable. However, the things changed in year 1985 when the Delaware Supreme Court of the state of Delaware of the United States of America have ruled the poison pill strategy as a legal mechanism. And since then, we have very large scale uses of this strategy, especially in the American boardrooms between the American companies. So what is the principle that is behind these strategies? So first of all, the term poison pill itself, the official term is called as a shareholder rights plan, and the alternative term, popular term, is poison pill. So this shareholders rights plan or poison pill strategy can be very well mentioned in the company's charter, or it can also be mentioned in the bylaws of the company, or even can exist as a contract among the shareholders of the company. So these are three sources from which the company can utilize or use the poison pill strategies. Once this technique is utilized, then it generally allows the certain group of shareholders or certain shareholders to buy additional stock of the company at a discounted price. Now here keep in mind that the person who has actually initiated or who actually has caused the trigger of poison pill is not allowed to buy the share of the company. For example, if you look at the Twitter case, so since Elon Musk is the reason why the company has to implement poison pill strategies, Elon Musk will not be able to buy any share, will not be allowed to buy any share, while all other shareholders of Twitter can increase their share and can buy at a very discounted price. And it is due to this reason the dilution happens in the value of shares, as other shareholders make discounted purchases, buy shares at very cheap prices, and the value of shares start to dilute down, goes down, and thus the share, or we can say this causes the decrease in the value of the share of the person who is holding it. So typically what happens as the end result of this whole process, that it makes the company's acquisition much less palatable to whoever the potential acquirer is, and also at the same time it make it more expensive for the acquirer to buy a share of a target company above a certain threshold. That strategy also gives the company more time, because when the poison pill is in use, now the company will have more time and they can evaluate the offer given or counter offer. They can give a counter offer, evaluate the offer given by the potential or hostile acquirer, and also can give the board leverage in forcing a negotiation with a person or company who wants to have a hostile takeover of the company. So what is happening, or what will happen in the Twitter case? So as of now, the Elon Musk holds 9% of the total share of the Twitter, and Twitter have said, their board of directors have said that if it reaches to 15% and start to increase more, that means if Elon Musk, or whenever Elon Musk increases his share by more than 15% in the companies, at that time the poison pill practice or poison pill strategy will be utilized, and then the additional shares will be flooding the market. This will cause immediate dilution of the Musk's stake in the Twitter, and at the same time it will cause a make it significantly difficult for him to buy a sizable portion of the company and thus have a controlling right over the company. So that is what the Twitter has actually announced, that again, if or when the threshold limit of 15% of the Twitter share is the threshold limit for Elon Musk, whenever he exceeds this limit, that is when poison pill would flood the market, additional shares will be issued, that will cause dilution of Musk's stake, and it will cost him much more higher to buy a sizable portion of the company. Now, what are the limitations to the poison pill? So first limitation is that poison pill can be limited if there has been in the company's charter, there has been a ceiling about how many number of shares can be issued. Because again, to remind you, poison pill works on the principle that company can issue as much share as it want to increase, to dilute the value of shares of the stakeholders or shareholders. But if there is already determined ceiling in the charter of company that you cannot issue more than that much of shares, then poison pill will not be that much effective. Second is, the poison pill can also have its limitation if the shareholders or stakeholders have sued the company in the court and asked and said that they have, by issuing or by utilizing the poison pill strategies, they have violated their fiduciary duties. However, to remind you that this approach is not that much feasible, because if you look at the earlier cases of poison pill strategy in the United States of America, we have seen the courts are extremely reluctant to take over such cases or to give the verdict in the favor of the acquirer in such cases. However, the third limitation is the poison pill cannot be a it cannot be a long-term solution. It is just a temporary basis. It is just a temporary solution, so that the company's stake, a company's interest, and the shareholders' interest are not stifled. So, but in a long term, both the major shareholder as the minority shareholder will have to come into some sort of agreement so that the company's interests are safe. Now, what has there been any earlier cases of poison pills? So there has been several cases. The important ones we are going to discuss here. So the first case, important case of use of poison pill strategies was used by McDonald's in year 1985 against the hostile takeover by Philip Morris International. Then later on, the Walt Disney Pictures have also said that they are utilizing poison pill strategies by issuing a very high number of shares, large number of shares, to dilute the stake of shareholders against and to ensure a sound and reasonable means of safeguarding the interest of all stockholders. Again, to remind you, Walt Disney did not use poison pill because someone was trying to acquire or someone was trying to do the hostile takeover of the company. This is simply utilized poison pill simply to safeguard the interest of the shareholders of Walt Disney against any future hostile takeover bid. In recent times, we also have a similar case of poison pill strategy used by Netflix, the popular media company, against Carl Icahn in November 2012, when this company has said that if the Carl Icahn's total stake in the company increased by 10%, increased more than 10%, then they will utilize the poison pill strategies. Similarly, the next year in 2013, we have a similar case of poison pill strategies being used by clothing brand called as Men's Warehouse, when there was a report of Josh A. Bank, that is another retail outlet. They wanted to do the hostile takeover of the Men's Warehouse, and to protect against this hostile takeover, Men's Warehouse actually used the poison pill strategy. However, later, a few years later, both parties came into agreement and both parties declared bankruptcy. So in conclusion, what we can say about this particular approach, that shareholder rights plans, also called as poison pill strategies, are measures that a company may implement to discourage a hostile takeover, as we are seeing in the case of Twitter versus Elon Musk. However, we have to keep in mind that poison pill does not always mean that companies do not want to be acquired or merged, because acquisition, merger of companies are a very normal phenomena that happens in day-to-day life, and sometimes they are used to force the acquirer to negotiate takeover terms more favorable for the target companies. For example, if any hostile acquirer want to take the company by paying $10 per share, but by using poison pill strategies, the company can actually force the buyer to take the companies by paying much higher amount. So that is also when the poison pill strategy is used. So I hope you understood about this concept poison pill and what is its relevance in context of the Elon Musk on Twitter controversy. So that is all for today. Thank you very much.